have a problem on our hands.
And by Houston, I actually mean all of Texas.
So if you guys have been following the channel for any amount of time, you will know that I was the #1 advocate for having players be able to, make a little bit of bread while they're in college. And ever since they made it so that players are now able to make money off of their name, image, and likeness, and they're starting to get NIL deals all across the board, I have been absolutely loving it. However, we might have a little problem on our hands. Now, I already understand that before the NIL deals were established, there was already players making money. They were already getting paid while they were in college. It was just illegal back then. However, now that it has been made legal for players to be able to make money off of their name, image, and likeness, I'm afraid that college football is going to turn into something completely different. And see, I can't even get mad because, hey, I was one of the people who wanted to open up Pandora's box. All right, well, this is what we're getting. I'm saying all of this to say that Texas as a state, as the whole state of Texas, might honestly push itself so far out of reach for any other state. And if your school is not located in Texas, you are simply not going to be able to compete with Texas. Well, Marcus, why are you saying that? I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but large foundations, large boosters are donating millions of dollars to just off the rip give these kids basically a salary for going to the school. Which, hey, you know what? That was something I was advocating for. However, when you don't put a cap on how much these players can be making, and you don't put a cap on how much money can be funneled into these programs, you're gonna start to see what we're seeing right now. If you guys didn't know, an SMU alumni group has pledged to donate over $1 million annually towards the SMU NIL program. On top of that, at the University of Texas, there have been alumni groups who have already pledged over $10 million for the program. And as of today, what is today? December 29th, 2021, if you are a Texas offensive lineman, I don't care if you're even good or not, if you are an offensive lineman at the University of Texas, you are scheduled to bring in $50,000 a year. $50K a year just for going to the school. Oh, well, Marcus, see, this is why we always said that the players shouldn't be making any money. See, you're the reason why this is gonna be a problem. All right, calm down, my guy. First off, there needed to be a change. I mean, these dudes were making billions of dollars off of free labor. So yes, things needed to change. However, when it comes to the competitive side of football, Texas as a state has proven time and time again that no other state loves football more than Texas. If you try and say anything else in the comment section, you're simply wrong. And on top of that, there's no other state that can put more money into football than Texas can. Take 5 random football stadiums in Texas high school football, and I can guarantee you that they're nicer than 90% of the stadiums across the entire country. I think that the NCAA, and there needs to be a players union, and there needs to be a meeting where these things can be leveled out more, because right now it's the wild, wild west. And if we just keep on letting it go, hey, don't get me wrong, players, make your money. I do not care about the money part. I'm caring more about the fact that there's going to be kids who know for a fact that, hey, I'm never going to touch, like, for example, they'll be like, hey, you know what? I know I'm never going to touch the field at UT, but they got $40,000 just waiting for me there. If I just play on the team, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to be a good player. None of that. They got $40, $50, $60, $70,000 just waiting for me there. And so you're going to have a lot more kids choosing to go just get the bag, which, again, I'm not saying that is wrong. However, Here my solution to this problem. Like I said, I believe that the NCAA and all of these schools, all these programs, and then there also needs to be a players union, need to all come together and put a flat rate for every Division I and 1AA school across the board. Obviously, there'll be a little bit of a price difference from obviously true D1 and 1AA, but there needs to be a flat rate across the board. Because I mean, basically, because I've signed that contract before. When you go and you play college football at the next level, before these NIL deals, you literally signed a contract signing away your name, image, and likeness. Okay, have that contract come with a little bit of money. Okay, hey, you know what? You worked your entire life. You did this great job to get to play college football. Okay. Every single year that you sign that contract over, and it needs to be a yearly renewal. It's a 1-year contract for, hey, this 1 year, $10,000. We'll pay you $10,000 so that you can go and and we can just use your name, image, and likeness for all the promotional stuff. I mean, how often do we see all these players just like, oh, they'll show players on just literally showing the players on the field during the games is enough to warrant them getting money for their name, image, and likeness. So there needs to be a flat rate there. However, when you have a flat rate of if you play this position and you come to this school, we got X amount of money waiting for you. That's not what these NIL deals were supposed to be set up for. It was supposed to be set up so that you can just simply make money as an athlete, not that you were going to be just automatically be given money and more money than other teams can even offer. Like you're gonna have kids who you're gonna have 3-star offensive linemen who, man, you know what? I would be a starter either my freshman or sophomore year if I go to Baylor or Houston, or if I was to go to some other school outside of Texas. But you know what? I'm gonna go to UT because they got 50 sacks for me and my family really needs it. And then that's gonna hurt that player's chances of going pro because they're just choosing the quick money early. It's kind of like signing a bad record deal, or it's like signing a bad record deal. Like you're putting yourself in a situation where obviously you can go and ball out and get starting time, but overall the likelihood of you doing that, not really. I mean, really look at it. Go look at the top teams when it comes to their recruiting rankings. 2 of the top 5 teams, the 1st and the 5th best recruiting class this year, are both located in Texas. And you already know that Texas A&M has a huge fund that they're probably talking about. It just hasn't been brought up in the news yet. So obviously your blue chip schools, your Alabamas, your Georgias, your USCs, your like the blue chip schools, they're obviously gonna have their alumni group come back and put a lot of money into these NIL programs. However, when you have schools like a Cincinnati, or you have schools like a UCF, like these new kind of like upcoming schools where like they've shown that they can get it done at the highest levels of college football, but they might not have the total backing, you're gonna just not see any of those schools even be able to crack the top 25, because literally the top 25 is gonna go from being the top 25 best teams to the top 25 richest teams. And I know I'm probably gonna title this video something catchy, but like it's not that big of an issue, because I mean, at the end of the day, players are still gonna be playing major college football. They're still gonna be setting themselves up to go and get the bag in the NFL. It's not like this is just gonna completely ruin college football, because at the end of the day, let's keep it a buck. None of these players that play big time college football, they're not athletes first. They're 100% they're not students first. They're 100% athletes. So if you just made it so like, hey, you know what? We got $50,000 for you to come here and you don't even have to go to school, that would make more sense. Because you know what? College football is really just the minor leagues for the NFL. They just weren't paying them like it. So now that they're paying them like it, what's the point? What's really the point of sending most of these kids to... Most kids in college football have like a 2.2 to 2.5 GPA. Most kids are not even thinking about using their major, like turn that into an actual career. No, they're trying to turn football into their primary source of making money. So I say either jump completely in on the other side where it's just like, hey, just let like really start paying these players like for real, or put a little bit more restrictions on it. Not saying that players shouldn't be making money. I'm just saying that put a cap on how much outside money can be funneled into NIL programs. That's all I'm saying. Because at the end of the day, players still got to go out there. The NIL deals were to help guys like a destroying, where it's like, hey, I want to go and I want to start a YouTube channel while I'm in college. Or other guys who are like, hey, I'm gonna start up now players are able to go, hey, I'm gonna go run a football clinic back in my hometown and make maybe like $1,000 because I'm a charge for entry into the camp. Stuff like that was what these NIL deals were supposed to be. Not, hey, I'm a multi-billionaire who used to go to UT. Here's $50 million because I just want to see us do well again. Like, I already know that this was already happening. I'm just saying, hey, we got to put some type of barrier in there, because if you told me I could make $50,000 by just going to a specific school, I don't have to do anything. I'm going to that school. But I want to hear from y'all, because I am kind of in like this middle ground where I don't even know if this is a good thing. I don't know if this is a bad thing. It's just more of like food for thought. Do you guys think that specifically the state of Texas is going to run itself to the actual top of the college football world, not through talent? Obviously it's through talent as well, because Texas has some of the most talent or the most talented, depending on who you ask, in the entire country. Do you think that they're going to run to the top because of money, or because you've been listening to what I said? I just kind of want to hear. I don't want to hear your thoughts. I don't really know how I feel about this yet, so I'm still trying to. I'm like, oh yeah, go get your bag, but then it's also like, this is not going to be the best thing for college football, but also like, it is. But like, I'm in a weird spot. I don't really know how to feel about this. So I want to hear from y'all. Yeah, so do you guys think that Texas is about to become the state of Texas, not just UT, I'm talking like the entire state of Texas is going to become the kings of college football? I want to hear from y'all down below. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. I love and appreciate all y'all. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Ciao.